Bhagavate Ramakrishnaya. Letters of Swami Vivekananda. Rise awake onward, I only tell you this, that whoever reads this letter will imbibe my spirit. Have faith onward. Swami Vivekananda. Letter number 164 from Almora on 29 July 1897, written to Miss Margaret Noble. My dear Miss Noble, a letter from Study reached me yesterday, informing me that you are determined to come to India and see things with your own eyes. I replied to that yesterday, but what I learned from Miss Muller about your plans makes this further note necessary, and it is better that it should be direct. Let me tell you frankly that I am now convinced that you have a great future in the work for India. What was wanted was not a man but a woman, a real lioness, to work for the Indians, women especially. India cannot yet produce great women. She must borrow them from other nations. Your education, sincerity, purity, immense love, determination, and above all, the Celtic blood makes you just the woman wanted. Yet the difficulties are many. You cannot form any idea of the misery, the superstition, and the slavery that are here. You will be in the midst of a mass of half-naked men and women with quaint ideas of caste and isolation, shunning the white skin through fear or hatred, and hated by them intensely. On the other hand, you will be looked upon by the white as a crank, and every one of your movements will be watched with suspicion. Then the climate is fearfully hot, our winter in most places being like your summer, and in the south it is always blazing. Not one European comfort is to be had in places out of the cities. If, in spite of all this, you dare venture into the work, you are welcome, 100 times welcome. As for me, I am nobody here as elsewhere, but what little influence I have shall be devoted to your service. You must think well before you plunge in. And after work, if you fail in this or get disgusted, on my part I promise you, I will stand by you unto death, whether you work for India or not, whether you give up Vedanta or remain in it. The tusks of the elephant come out, but never go back. So are the words of a man never retracted. I promise you that. Again, I must give you a bit of warning. You must stand on your own feet and not be under the wings of Miss Muller or anybody else. Miss Muller is a good lady in her own way, but unfortunately it got into her head when she was a girl that she was a born leader and that no other qualifications were necessary to move the world but money. This idea is coming on the surface again and again in spite of herself. This idea is coming on the surface again and again in spite of herself, and you will find it impossible to pull on with her in a few days. She now intends to take a house in Calcutta for herself and yourself and other European or American friends who may come. It is very kind and good of her, but her Lady Abbess plan will never be carried out for two reasons: her violent temper and overbearing conduct, and her awfully vacillating mind. Friendship with many is best at a distance, and everything goes well with the person who stands on his own feet. Mrs. Xavier is a jewel of a lady, so good, so kind. The saviors are the only English people who do not hate the natives. Sturdy, not accepted. Mr. and Mrs. Savior are the only persons who did not come to patronize us. But they have no fixed plans yet. When you come, you may get them to work with you, and that will be really helpful to them and to you. But after all, it is absolutely necessary to stand on one's own feet. I learned from America, 2 friends of mine, Mrs. Early Bull of Boston and Miss MacLeod, are coming on a visit to India this autumn. Miss MacLeod you already know in London, that Paris-dressed young American lady. Mrs. Early Bull is about 50 and has been a kind friend to me in America. I may suggest that your joining the party may while away the tedium of the journey, as they also are coming by way of Europe. I am glad to receive a note at last from Sturdy after long, but it was so stiff and cold. It seems he is disappointed at the collapse of the London work. With everlasting love, yours ever in the Lord Vivekananda. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanam.